Welcome to the edge of reckoning, where every choice stands tall, unyielding, and heavy with consequence. Today, you stand not as a bystander, but as the executioner, the harbinger of fate, the one who pulled the trigger on destiny's merciless judgment. This isn't a mere story about chance or luck. This is a declaration of power, a symphony of relentless will and unshakable resolve. When the scales tipped and the dust settled, you were the one who made the move that shattered illusions, broke chains, and changed everything. This isn't about playing safe or hiding behind shadows. It's about standing in the blazing inferno of decision, knowing that your choice, your move, was the final verdict. So if you're ready to face the raw truth, to step into the arena where judgment isn't given, it's earned, then listen close, because what follows will ignite the fire inside you. Before we dive deeper, if you feel the weight of these words, the pulse of power, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Join the tribe of warriors who refuse to bow, who wield their decisions like swords cutting through hesitation. And drop a comment below. Tell me what that one move was for you, the moment you stepped into the role of executioner, when everything changed in an instant. This isn't just a speech, it's a movement, a testament to the ruthless clarity of action. There comes a time in every life when you stand at the crossroads of comfort and chaos, and the world demands more than a whispered promise or a half-hearted effort. That moment, the one where your move becomes the judgment day, is the crucible of your existence. It's the moment when fear scrambles like a shadow fleeing the dawn, and you emerge as the architect of your own destiny. There's no going back, no rewriting history. You become the executioner, the force that severs the ties of the past, the architect of irreversible change. You make the move that leaves no room for doubt, no safety net to catch your fall. This is where legends are born, where fate bows down to the relentless will of those who dare to decide. Think about it. How often do we shrink from this moment? How many times do we let the fear of judgment paralyze us? When in truth, the only judgment that matters is the one we deliver upon ourselves. When you realize that the power to change your world rests in the hand that moves, you become unstoppable. The weight of that move is heavy, yes, but it is the burden of kings and warriors alike. It's the price you pay for sovereignty over your life, the mark that separates the timid from the triumphant. That one move, whether it was cutting ties, making a bold choice, or standing up when everyone else sat down, was your verdict. And it wasn't mercy you showed, it was justice, swift and final. Let me be brutally honest with you. This path isn't for the faint-hearted. To be the executioner means embracing the darkness within, staring into the abyss and not flinching. It means knowing that your move will burn bridges, challenge beliefs, and ignite fires that can never be extinguished. But here's the secret. That fire is your forge. It tempers your soul, sharpens your resolve, and carves out the warrior within. The move that changed everything was more than a decision. It was a declaration of war against stagnation, weakness, and fear. If you feel that surge of power rising inside you, that's the signal to push harder, to move faster, to own your role as the executioner of your fate. If you're feeling this message stirring something fierce inside, take a moment to subscribe. Be part of a community that doesn't flinch from the harsh truths, that celebrates the brutal clarity of decisive action. And as always, share your story in the comments, because your move, your judgment day, could be the spark that lights the fire in someone else's soul. We rise not just as individuals, but as a legion of executioners wielding their power with unrelenting force. There is a certain solitude in being the executioner. It's a lonely throne, carved out by sacrifice and courage. When you make the move that changes everything, you may find yourself walking alone, isolated by the magnitude of your choice. But don't mistake solitude for weakness. The executioner is a sovereign force, and the silence that follows your move is the calm before the storm of transformation. Your decision severs the old, cleaves through the noise, and paves the way for a new reality, one built on your terms, forged by your hands. The path may be lonely, but it is yours, and it is unbreakable. You might ask yourself, how do you know when that moment is real? How do you recognize the day your move will echo through eternity? It is the moment when hesitation dies and conviction takes its place, when doubt is drowned out by a burning certainty that this is what must be done. The executioner doesn't ask for permission or seek validation. They act, because they know that inaction is the deadliest sentence of all. The move that changed everything was never easy. It was a weighty step into the unknown, a leap into chaos with nothing but your own will to guide you. But it was necessary, and because you took it, the world shifted beneath your feet. History remembers those who made hard choices, who stood alone at the precipice and pushed forward when everyone else faltered. Your move was a judgment day, not just for yourself, but for anyone who doubted you, who tried to hold you back, who whispered that you weren't ready. You were ready. You are ready. And that readiness is your power. It doesn't come from luck, from hope, or from waiting for the right moment. It comes from the brutal acceptance that sometimes, to survive, to thrive, to rise, you have to be the executioner. You have to deliver the final blow to the old version of yourself, the limiting beliefs, the toxic ties, the fear that shackled your soul. Look back and own it. The move you made changed the course of your life forever. There is no rewind button, no do-over, only the forward march of consequence. Some call it fate, others call it destiny, but you know the truth. It was you. You took the scalpel to your own story and carved a new path. That path may be rough, dark, and filled with uncertainty, but it's yours to claim. And the fire that burns within you now is the flame that will light your way through every challenge to come. Every executioner knows that power is a double-edged sword. It demands sacrifice, demands blood, demands a willingness to face the darkest parts of yourself and come out stronger. That one move was your reckoning, your crucible. It tested your limits, pushed you beyond what you thought possible, and revealed the warrior who had been waiting beneath the surface all along. You learned that power isn't given, it's taken. It isn't gentle, it's fierce. And in that fierceness lies your freedom. Remember this: those who fear judgment never move, never grow, never evolve. They stay shackled by the chains of indecision and the ghosts of what if. But you moved when it mattered most. You were the executioner who delivered judgment not just on the world around you, but on your own doubts, your own weaknesses. That move ripped through the lies you told yourself and exposed the raw, unfiltered truth of who you really are, a force of nature, unstoppable and unbreakable. The world is waiting for more of you like that, people who make moves that change everything, not because it's easy, but because it's necessary, not because it's safe, but because it's real. The path of the executioner is one of clarity, of courage, and of uncompromising truth. When you embrace that, you embrace the kind of power that reshapes your reality and rewrites your future. So stand tall, executioner. Own your judgment day. Know that the move you made, the one that set the world on fire, is the very thing that will forge your legacy. You are not defined by fear or hesitation, but by the ruthless clarity of your action. The scales have been tipped. The sentence has been passed. Now, it's time to walk boldly into the new world you created. This is your moment. This is your reckoning. This is the dark, beautiful power of being the executioner. There's a haunting beauty in the fact that the moment you made that move, everything changed. Irrevocably, brutally, magnificently. That moment wasn't some random flicker in the chaos of life. It was a calculated strike, a conscious choice to step into your own power when the world demanded more than whispers. It was the moment you turned the tide, burned your ships, and looked the unknown dead in the eye with a grin that said, "I own this." The weight of that move presses down on your soul, not as a burden, but as a badge of honor. It's the mark of a warrior who refused to stay shackled, who seized control when everything was on the line. The world you knew died that day, and from its ashes rose something far stronger, far more dangerous, the you who commands fate itself. The truth is, every great transformation demands a sacrifice. You didn't just make a move, you executed a sentence. You condemned old habits, toxic relationships, false hopes, and cowardly excuses. You wielded judgment like a blade, cutting through the thick fog of comfort and complacency. And in that moment, you became something rare, an executioner of illusions. No more hiding, no more excuses. You faced your demons, looked down the barrel of your fears, and pulled the trigger. It's not glamorous, it's not easy, but it's necessary. It's the raw, unfiltered essence of true power. The world will try to make you regret it, to question your decision, to tempt you back into the safety of shadows. But you won't. Because that move was your declaration that you are done playing by anyone else's rules. That one move changed everything, and nothing will ever be the same again. Now, if you're feeling that fire burn deep within you, that hunger to break free from the chains, that bind, don't just let it simmer. Hit that subscribe button and become part of a community that embraces the darkness, that thrives on the edge where most fear to tread. And don't hesitate. Share your story in the comments below. What was that one move that turned your life upside down? Because your story might be the catalyst someone else needs to become the executioner of their own fate. Let me remind you that the executioner walks a solitary path, often misunderstood by those still caught in the web of fear and doubt. When you make the move that changes everything, you disrupt the balance, shake the foundations of the familiar, and invite chaos to dance with you. People around you may resist, reject, or even resent the shift, because change threatens their own comfort zones. But you stand firm, unmoved by the noise, because you know that true power demands isolation. The executioner isn't swayed by popularity or approval. They are sovereign, wielding the sword of decision with unwavering precision. The loneliness you feel is not a curse. It's a throne upon which true kings and queens sit. And from that throne, you look out over the kingdom you've claimed. Kingdom born of sacrifice, forged in fire, and ruled by the iron will of the one who dared to move when it counted. You may feel the echoes of doubt creeping in, the whispers of, "What if I was wrong?" Or, "Was this really worth it?" These are the voices of the old world, trying to reclaim their hold over you. But remember, an executioner knows that hesitation is the enemy of progress. The move that changed everything was not a reckless gamble. It was a calculated act of courage. It was the moment when you chose growth over comfort, action over stagnation, power over paralysis. Doubt will never be your master again, because you have passed judgment on it and found it wanting. To be the executioner is to understand that true judgment is not about punishment, but about liberation. It's the ruthless kindness of cutting away what no longer serves you so that new life can flourish. Every choice you make carries a weight, and every consequence carves a new path. When you made that move, you didn't just change your circumstances, you rewrote your very existence. The past that once held you captive was severed, its chains shattered by the force of your will. And in that space of freedom, you found something precious and rare, your true self. This path demands a relentless hunger, a ferocity that will not be quelled by setbacks or failures. The executioner understands that every strike may not land perfectly, every battle may not be won easily, but the war is never lost. The move that changed everything was the first in a series of relentless pushes, a series of brutal awakenings that shape the warrior you are becoming. Your story is not about perfection. It's about persistence. It's about the raw courage to rise every time you fall, to sharpen your blade with every scar, and to look the world in the eye with unshakable resolve. And here's the truth no one likes to tell you. Being the executioner means embracing your darkest parts. You must look inside and acknowledge the shadows, the anger, the pain, the rage that fuel your drive. These are not weaknesses. They are your power sources. They are the fire that melts away weakness and forges strength. When you channel that darkness, when you harness it with discipline and clarity, you become unstoppable. The move you made wasn't just a moment of light. It was a plunge into the depths, a communion with your own raw truth. It's in that darkness that your real power is born. Let the world be warned. The executioner is here, and their move has altered the course of history. You carry the weight of that move like a crown, heavy but righteous. It is a constant reminder that power is not given, it is seized. That transformation is not gentle, it is violent, relentless, and glorious. And that you, above all, have the courage to stand in the storm and say, "This ends now." The past is a tomb, and you are the executioner who holds the key to its final silence. So, as you move forward, remember this. Your power lies not just in the move you made, but in your commitment to never stop moving, to never stop judging, deciding, executing, to keep tearing down what no longer serves you and building up what sets your soul on fire. The executioner's path is a lonely road, but it is the road of the brave, the fierce, and the unstoppable. And you walk it with fire in your eyes and steel in your hands. If this message resonates, if it wakes something fierce inside you, make sure you subscribe. Join the legion of executioners who refuse to live half alive, who refuse to bow to fear, who refuse to be anything less than sovereign over their destiny, and share your move in the comments. Because the power of one move, the one that changed everything, is a spark that can ignite a revolution. Your judgment day came, and you were the executioner. The world trembles because of it, and the future bows down to your unyielding will. The move you made was no accident. It was a declaration carved from the depths of your soul's darkest fires. When the world around you quivered with uncertainty, you stood unmoved, a pillar of ruthless clarity. That move was your judgment day, the moment you stepped off the cliff of doubt and into the abyss of pure will. It was the moment you stopped begging for permission and began giving it to yourself. No longer a prisoner of fear, you became the executioner, and every chain that once bound you shattered under the weight of your resolve. This is not a tale for the faint-hearted. For the faint-hearted would never dare to be the one who executes judgment, who changes the game with a single, unforgiving stroke. But you, yes, you, are no longer afraid of the dark. You are the storm that howls in the night, the thunder that breaks silence, the fire that consumes old worlds to birth new empires. Every second since that move has been a battle, a war between the comfortable lies of the past and the brutal, beautiful truth of the future you chose. The echoes of your judgment resonate in every corner of your life, shaking foundations, burning bridges, rewriting stories. People will try to pull you back, whisper that you're too harsh, too cold, too much. Let them talk. They don't understand that the executioner's heart beats with a sacred fury, one that will not be silenced by the timid or the faint. The move that changed everything was never meant to be gentle. It was meant to break you free. It was meant to set the world on fire, starting with the world inside you. And if you're feeling that fire crackling, roaring, daring you to fan it higher, then lean into it. Feed it with your courage. Let it consume every ounce of hesitation until all that remains is your unbreakable will. And if you haven't yet, hit that subscribe button. This isn't just a place for motivation. It's a sanctuary for warriors who have tasted the darkness and chosen to wield it as power. And drop a comment below. Share your moment, the move that was your judgment day. Your story matters. It's a beacon for others standing on their own precipice, waiting for the strength to leap. You see, the executioner knows that power is never handed out in ribbons and applause. It is carved from sacrifice, forged in isolation, and hammered by relentless discipline. It demands everything you have and then asks for more. That move you made wasn't the end. It was the ignition of a lifelong war against complacency, against weakness, against the parts of you that once begged for safety over freedom. But now you know, the only safety worth having is the safety of knowing you own your fate, that you are the executioner who delivers the sentence with absolute certainty and walks away with the scars to prove it. Those scars aren't signs of weakness. They are trophies of war, maps of battles fought and won in the darkest trenches of your mind and spirit. Do not underestimate the gravity of what you have done. That move, that singular moment when everything shifted, did not just change your course. It altered the very fabric of your existence. You rewrote the rules of engagement with your own life. You tore down walls built by fear, dismantled illusions sold by comfort, and tore out the roots of limitation that tried to hold you down. You weren't just making a move. You were rewriting the code of your reality. And this new code is ruthless, fierce, and unapologetically yours. The world will test you relentlessly now. It will throw every challenge it can muster to break you, to bend you back into the mold you shattered. But remember, the executioner is not someone who breaks. The executioner is the breaker of chains, the reaper of doubt, the sovereign of their own story. Every obstacle is a reminder that your power is real, that your move sent ripples far beyond what you can see. Every challenge is an invitation to rise, to sharpen your blade again, to deliver judgment not with hesitation, but with precision. You are not a victim of circumstance. You are the executioner of your own fate. The fire you ignited that day still burns. Feed it. Protect it. Let it drive you to heights you once thought impossible. And know this, no one can ever take that power away from you, because it comes from within. It comes from the decision to stand, to act, to change. That move was your crown. Wear it proudly. If this resonates with you, if it awakens something fierce inside, then subscribe now and join the ranks of those who refuse to be anything less than legendary. and share your move in the comments. Your story is a weapon, a beacon, a call to arms for all those who need the courage to make their own judgment day. You were the executioner, and that move changed everything, forever.